everybody knows how to text. So I wanted to basically take the idea of an AI agent and infuse it with the ability to interact through text, and that way the sky's the limit. All right, guys, so check this out. So I'm now looking at the agent. I'm gonna give it a quick run here to test it, and I'm gonna send it a message. I'm gonna say, hey, how's it going? What's your name? Again, super simple stuff. See what happens. As you see, the AI agent gets hit, and then it responds, hey, I'm Michelle. I'm here to help you cut through the noise, whether it's news, real estate, finance, or sorting your day. How can I help you today? So I've basically prompted her, quote unquote, this way, but just keep in mind you could do whatever you want. And just for the purpose of giving you some insight as to how agents work. So this is where the input comes from. This is me sending the message here. It comes in through here. This over here, its purpose is essentially to capture the phone number that the person or the user is texting from, identifying it, and then feeding that as a memory ID, so that way when different people send messages, it actually can identify who it is, and it can have its own history of conversation with them, which makes it a much more realistic experience, which is the key, okay? Now you'll notice here I have 3 tools. So I have the RSS feed, which I've spoken about a bunch in the past. Essentially an RSS feed is a compilation of a variety of different news websites, whether it's based on a specific website, whether it's based on keywords or social media platforms, for example, like YouTube and stuff like that. It aggregates all the different news in a compilation and generates one single feed. So this agent is connected to the feed and or bundle that I've created, which I'll show you, and it has the ability to actually relay that information back to me based on the news that it's collecting for the day. It has the ability to send a Gmail message, so it can send out emails, and it even has the ability to create and even post a tweet, okay? Again, you're only limited by your creativity. This is not by any means what you need to do. It's just a very simple solution that I wanted to put together to show you, to get you thinking, get you started, and by all means, put whatever tool you want as you can that makes the most sort of sense for your use case, okay? So let's give this another run for a second. That's awesome. Michelle, look, I'm working on a blog post for my website. Are you able to assist me with putting together an outline based on the most relevant and trending news information for today? Can you make it super simple and summarize just so I get the gist of it? Okay, so now the message goes through, it hits the agent, it goes to the brain, which I'll walk you through in a second, hits the memory, and it's gonna respond. Let's see what it did. Absolutely. Okay, so by the way, I've previously run the agent in testing prior to recording, so this is why I didn't hit the RSS feed, but let's actually ask, can you actually check the latest news and provide a quick summary for me? So now, as you see, it did hit that, that node, which is key, and it's gonna respond. And as you can see, Prime Minister Mark Carney's pushing against Trump's tariffs, da 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 da. So this is all based on today's news, which is awesome. I could even say, cool, can you provide me a link to the top story? Let's see what happens. Okay, there you go. Got a link. I'm gonna click it. It's real. Send me the link. So you see it's connected to the RSS feed. It's got the ability to connect to Gmail. It's got the Twitter. It's got it all. And then what it's doing is it's sending a text back. So this is the cool thing. This by no means is different than any other agent except for the fact of how we're interacting with it. And I think that in the world of business, it's important to be as accessible as possible to the most amount of people, because that's how you're gonna get your business sort of running and growing. So with that being said, let me walk you through the playbook and then we're gonna go into the build. All right guys, so let's check it out. Let's go through today's playbook. So here are the things that you're going to need. And as always, if you're part of the automated realtor community in Skool, on Skool, our exclusive community comes with all the templates, all the resources that you need to simply pretty much plug and play and get this going for yourself, okay? So I strongly recommend you check us out, join. I don't think you'll miss, I don't think you'll regret it. We're going to be doing a lot of live builds, a lot of sort of one-on-ones, and a lot of group phone calls to sort of grow together, build together, and that sort of thing. So with that being said, let's do a quick walkthrough of what today's playbook looks like. We're going to be using N8N as our platform. As you know, sometimes I go between N8N and sometimes I use Make for the purpose of automating a AI agent or building one. For the time being, I still prefer N8N, and we'll see why. So to make an account, go to this website here. You'll get a 14-day free trial to get your feet wet. After that, it's super simple in the sense of, it's not super simple, it's cost effective. It's actually cheaper than Make for the most part, and it actually does have a bit of a steeper learning curve than Make, but it's much more flexible and you can do a lot more interesting things for the time being, okay? So that's the first thing. You want to head over to n8n.io, make an account, sign up, set up. And the second thing we're going to do, and I'll walk us through it, is we're going to go to Twilio. And what we're going to do is not only going to create an account, we're going to set up a phone number, and then I'm going to show you how to use that phone number to bring it into your agent so your agent can communicate through that phone number, which is going to make life pretty easy for you, okay? And your business thrive, hopefully. The AI agent is what we're going to then build. It's going to have access to a variety of different tools. And this, again, I cannot stress enough, is where your creativity is going to kick in. You can essentially connect and program it to do what it is that you want. So my recommendation before building anything, you mainly want to have the idea, sort of know what you're going after, map it out, even use Excel Draw, which I'm using here, by the way, to sort of put ideas together, and then that way follow a path. Don't just wing it because you might find yourself running in circles, okay? For our AI agent build on this one, I'm once again using OpenRouter. I really like this, this platform. So for those of you that have been keeping up, I've been talking about them the last few videos. They're pretty amazing. Just to give you some backdrop, so pretty much an LLM, which is the brain of anything AI. When people say AI, they're essentially referring to an LLM. So for the most part, most people are familiar with things like ChatGPT, but in the world of AI, there's a lot more than just ChatGPT. When you're working on either an automation or an automation with AI or an agent or whatever the case is, you have the option of deciding which AI LLMs you want to use. The issue is, because there's a variety of different ones and each one is good for different things, you find yourself creating different accounts for each and every single one when you need it, which could be a bit of an annoyance to sort of keep up with. What OpenRouter allows you to do is it's pretty much taken all of them, compiled them under one roof. You make a single account at OpenRouter.ai. And by the way, I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. In fact, I'm not sponsored at all, not yet. And so everything I'm telling you is just from my own experience, what I found to be really useful and awesome to use. And then you make the singular account, and you're able to then pick and choose whichever one you want with that singular node, which I'll show you when we get into the build. So head over to OpenRouter.ai. For today's build for the AI agent, we're using GPT 4.1. This is the new iteration of 4.0, and so I want to use it because apparently it's really good, and at the moment it's only available to developers such as us, meaning if you're building with it, you can use it, but if you're somebody that's simply using the ChatGPT application, you cannot, okay? So with that being said, that's for the brain of the AI agent. The tools that I've added to this agent for now, and again, like I always say, I'll show you guys how far the rabbit hole can go. But the point is, we're just simply doing these connections to show you what could happen as you start to add on tools. Tools are the fingers to the agent or the hand, and without them, it's not as flexible, it's not as powerful. So think about the things you want it to be able to do, think about the various objectives that you have, and then start making the connections and adding things on. And as our series goes on, I'll be adding new and different tools. By the way, feel free to shoot me a DM, a message, an email, whatever the case is. And if you have any questions or are seeking to do sort of custom, connectivity, let me know. I'll help you out. But for today, we connected the RSS. as I mentioned, the X Twitter feed for the purpose of posting, and Gmail, okay? And then the result is gonna look something like this. So the SMS news recap for the day. So this is from a previous conversation, and I just took a quick screenshot to show you guys. So as you can see, I'm interested in a very simple and concise summary of today's top news stories, and it did it. That's awesome. Can you send me a beautiful HTML email of a solid news recap? Here's my email. Once done, let me know. It did it. And here's the received email that I got from the agent. And what's even cooler is the agent was able to do all this sort of autonomously, okay? So with that being said, let's head over to the build and let me walk you through it. So check this out. So the first thing that you want to do, I would say, is go to Twilio. What you want to do is sign up, make an account, okay? Make an account. It's going to give you over here, and I'm going to block this out because I do need this stuff, obviously. It's going to give you an account SID. It's going to give you an auth token, and then it's going to give you various phone numbers. But the most important thing is you need this, okay? And I'll show you why. So once you have this by way of making an account, you're going to go to phone numbers. You're going to go to buy a number, okay? And then it's going to show you all the available phone numbers. You can go based on country. So you could do US, you could do Canada, okay? And for capabilities, you want voice, SMS, MMS, and all that. That's fine. And then, I don't know, say you want criteria based on locality. You could try typing in Toronto or wherever your preferred locality is. Okay, and as you can see, it's giving me phone numbers. So I've got these options here. By the way, 647-416, nearly impossible to get. And I think most people do know that. So just grab any one of these. You click over buy, okay? And then as you can see here, you're looking at about $1.15 per phone number per month. This is in US dollars, so it's still about $2 or whatever the case is. And once you buy it, you have it. In terms of the cost of per message, I wanna say it's about 1 to 2 cents a message, okay? So keep that in mind, however, still super affordable. Once you've bought the phone number, you're gonna go here to active phone numbers, okay? As you're gonna see, there's a list of phone numbers, and in our case, I'm gonna click it. This is the one that we're using, and for the purpose of text just focus on this part. When you go to the part where it says messaging configuration, you scroll down, and then message comes in. You wanna check off Webhook, okay? And so get to this part right here, go back to N8N, go to add a node, type Webhook, okay? And you're gonna get this, okay? And so once you get this, what you're gonna do is, you're gonna simply click this to copy it. You're gonna go back to this, to the Webhook, and you're gonna paste it right here, okay? Just like that, okay? So just to walk that back, you're gonna go to Twilio, you're gonna make an account, you're gonna buy a phone number, you're gonna go to active phone numbers, which is gonna show you the phone numbers that you have. You're gonna click the phone number that you wanna do this with, like I did here. You're gonna scroll down to messaging service. You're gonna go to a message comes in, because this now determines what happens when a message comes in. And when a message comes in, what's gonna happen from that point is, you're gonna then be able to put in the URL which you received from the webhook. So when you create the webhook node, okay, like here, just like that, you click it, and when you go here, this is the actual URL. So you just click it to copy, and you just paste it right here and save, okay? That's it. And then what you wanna do from there is you wanna do listen for test. So now it's listening for something to happen, to receive a message or any sort of data and information, okay? So as a matter of fact, let's actually just do it with my example, okay? So I'm gonna cancel this, and I'm gonna make a quick change here, and we're gonna do immediately, and you'll understand why in a second, and then I'm gonna do this. Okay, so now as you see, it's listening, and as you know on Twilio, it's connected with the same webhook URL, so I'm gonna say, hey there. I'm gonna send that in, and as you can see, check mark, it received it, and now it gives me all that information that I want, okay? The next thing that I've done is so that's it, okay? Now over here, when you go to respond, so after you've confirmed that the information was passed through, as you guys know, I wrote hey there. So in the body, it'll say what I wrote, which is hey there. Okay, done. That's it. It worked. And that's important because you're going to start mapping this data forward. The next thing I've done, and by the way, once you've confirmed that part, in the response section here, it's extremely important that you go to using respond to webhook node, okay? Because that webhook node, the respond one that I have at the very end, which I'll show you, is the one that's responsible for responding to the text, okay? It's one thing to receive a text, it's another thing to send one out. So the first thing you're gonna do is, for the purpose of testing to make sure that the information translates and goes over to N8N to your webhook, is you're gonna do immediately, okay? Because it won't work unless you have it on that. So once you've received the data, just like I have here, and you can see the body and all that other stuff, all you're gonna do is you're gonna put it to respond using webhook, respond to webhook node, that's it, okay? The next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna add an edit field. And the way you're gonna do that, quite simple. Let's go here, you're gonna add node, edit, field, okay? So this is like creating a custom variable, and I'll explain what I mean by this. So you're gonna add it just like this, okay? And then in my case, when I added it, what I threw in here, okay? And again, I didn't like write this or anything, but the number that I texted from is gonna show up as a from label. So that's what we're gonna look for. So you wanna find the phone number that sent the text, which is right here, okay? So all you do is you grab this and you throw it here. That's it. And again, the reason I did that is because in my memory, it's connected to that phone number. And because it's connected to that phone number, to the edit fields rather, that then means that the memory changes depending on the phone number that sent the message. So if I send the message, it brings up the memory related to my phone number. If somebody else sends the message, it's gonna bring up the memory relevant to that phone number, okay? So it's very important. The next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna go here. And again, by the way, if you're in the community, you don't have to worry about any of this stuff. You're gonna have access to this. You're gonna just simply download. And then when you download it from the community on Skool, you're gonna go here to the top right where the 3 dots are, and you're gonna go to import from file. You're gonna click that, and then you're just gonna upload the file that I'm gonna have available in the community, which is gonna be this exact template, okay? But for those of you that just wanna sort of understand the mechanics of stuff, I'm gonna build it with you so you conceptually sort of understand what it is that we're doing, and it makes your life a lot easier, okay? So the next thing that you wanna do is you wanna add another node, and it shows you advanced AI. You can click it, AI agent, okay? And then this box will come up, and I'm gonna walk you through your options. So the first thing you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to pick a chat model, okay? In our case, I went with OpenRouter. If I disconnect and I go to plus, as you can see, it gives you a variety of options. As I mentioned, look, you have Anthropic, you have Azure, you have DeepSeek, you have Gemini, you have Grok, you have Mistral, you have OpenAI. So the fact that OpenRouter is available, instead of me having individual accounts and API keys with each and every single one of these and beyond, I figured, you know what? Let me just simply make an OpenRouter account where everything is available, okay? So once you have that connected, whoops, 1 second. Okay, there we go. Once you connect your brain, quote unquote, you simply choose, which model, done. Memory, you're gonna go to define below, okay? And in defining below, you just wanna map in the edit field. And the edit field, as we know, is the phone number, as I mentioned. And then the next thing you have is tools. So let's walk over to RSS.app. So we're gonna go here, okay? So first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna go to new feed. And as you can see, when you go to new feed, you have the option of selecting specific websites. So you could actually put websites. You could go based on Instagram feeds, X feeds, TikTok, whatever really, okay? So these are all the social platforms. You can go on topics. So I could choose like a variety of different topics in terms of keywords, newsletters, whatever, okay? It allows you to put up to 15 different feeds on their like $9.99 a month plan, I wanna say, okay? Something like that. It's not expensive and it's super valuable if you're looking to create content. Once you line up all your feeds, you're able to do what's known as creating a bundle, as you see here. And I'll just pick one of mine, Ultimate News. And Ultimate News, what it has, and by the way, if you look, this is actually the story that it texted me over here. So pretty cool to see how it sort of connects like that, right? Okay, so here are all the different feeds that I have. So I have Canadian real estate down here from Yahoo. I have Mortgages Canada as a keyword. I have Blog TO real estate, Canada economy as a keyword, better dwelling, stories, Canadian mortgage trends, financial post, et cetera, et cetera. So that then, what it does is it's compiled all these feeds and turned it into a bundle. And when you create that bundle, you give it a name. And as you see, I have 11 feeds connected to it. And all you do is you copy here. So let's go back to the agent for a sec. So go here, go RSS, retool, it's right there. So you would click it. And in clicking it, whoops, one sec. And in clicking it, this is all you have to do. So you give it a description. I just wrote reads data from an RSS feed, pretty straightforward. And you paste, see this? You just paste the URL feed. That's it, like the bundle, okay? That's all you do. Like literally copy and then, oops, paste. And you're good. That's it. So that tool's connected, okay? And obviously in the prompt, by the way, let's go back and this prompt will be made available. But again, it's pretty simple and basic. And use ChatGPT and things like that to generate better quality prompts. Just know what you're trying to do. Give it, think in terms of hiring an employee. So the normal sort of architecture of that would be things such as role, so what is your role, the persona, and this, by the way, is how you would actually create high quality prompts, which in this case, I just made it simple, but you would do things like role, you are a high level expert when it comes to data analysis. Like, again, I'm just giving you an example, okay? I'm not gonna actually use this. And then you would do persona. This just sort of describes how intelligent, friendly, blah, 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 steps, rules. So it's like you're really giving a descriptive sort of overview of what it does, how it does it, what it needs to accomplish, and so on and so forth. This helps the LLM understand. You got to understand, the LLMs are very intelligent in some ways, but also they lack context in other ways. Okay, it needs context. It does not fill in the gap the way you think it would. So the more descriptive, the more sort of clarity you give it in your prompting, the better. And if you sort of if you tell ChatGPT to help you with a prompt based on the information you give it, when you know what it is you're trying to achieve with the prompt, you'll get out a pretty high quality prompt. So keep that in mind. You throw that in there. Oh, and most importantly, because we have things such as tools, you need to give it instructions on what the tools are that it has, when to use them, and stuff like that, okay? Because the AI agent is gonna make the decision autonomously, which is cool, to use a tool when it needs to use it, when it should use it, and stuff like that, okay? So that's really super important. And that's another thing. So that's the big difference, right? We hear about AI automation, and some people think, oh, well, AI is just kind of, it's nothing more than a fancy workflow with a little bit of ChatGPT. Yes and no, but workflows with like automation workflows with injected AI are extremely powerful, especially when it comes to sort of repetitive things that need to be done over and over again. So it's super powerful. But what makes this different is that we're not actually linear. We're not just going left to right. What's happening is we're starting left, okay? We get to the AI agent, which, by the way, I can rename to whatever I want. I could say Michelle Assistant, okay? Just for the purpose of making it cooler. And then, it gets here. And then once it gets here, because this has a brain connected to it with prompt and memory, which basically what humans have. I mean, if you think about it, it's nuts. That's kind of what humans have. It then is going to make the decision on, okay, am I going to use this? Am I going to use this? Am I going to use this? Am I going to use all of them? Okay, so that's that. Now I'm going to test it again, and I want to show you something too. Hey, are you able to write me an email with a high-level blog outline, blog post outline that I can share later today based on the news today. Please do so in HTML, ensure proper formatting, and let's make sure that it's visually stunning. Okay, so, and I have to give it my email, which, by the way, I can improve prompting, and it can either know my email, or I can add my contacts, for instance, and I'll show you that too. So I'm just gonna do this. I wanna see what happens. So it went to the assistant, it's going to the brain, hit the memory. It's now thinking about the request that I just made. So what's it gonna do, okay? It knows the tools that it has available. It knew that it had access to send an email, so it did it. I just got an email, so your HTML, check this out. Here we go. Not bad. Simple, easy, and yeah, again, very simple, but like powerful if you think about it. You want to create this Twilio node as well. So again, you want to just follow these steps. Step 1, webhook, as we went through at the beginning of the video. Step 2, you want to create the edit fields. That way you connect the phone number that the text is coming from to the edit field, so that way we can feed it into the AI and memory, and it knows each and every conversation, even if it's with different people. The Twilio one is to get the text message to go out. The inbound receives, Twilio sends text message out. So what you want to do is go like this. You would go to add a node, type in Twilio, for example, like this, and you can do send an SMS, okay? Once you do that, it'll look like this. You create credentials over here, and it'll go based on auth token, and which you would just simply copy, if you remember from the beginning, the SSID. So when you go to the dashboard, it would copy the SSID along with the token, okay? Once you pop those two things in, it'll connect. And again, if you ever have issues or are not sure about how to make any credential connections on this, you always can click docs for each and every one, and it'll give you exact instructions on how to get not only credentials, but what the process and steps are, okay? Once we have that connected, the phone number that you're using will show up here as the from number, and then the to number is gonna be determined based on the number that the text message came from. So all you do is, came from here, you could throw it in here, okay? Because now we're responding to the phone number that texted us. And then in terms of the message output, you're gonna wanna use the output from the AI assistant. So as you see the assistant here, and the text output is here, you just wanna throw that in because it's essentially the response from the AI that you're using as a message to go out, okay? And then the most important part to make this whole thing work correctly and properly, because if you just stopped here, what would happen is you would send a message and it would only say accept, and that would be problematic. So to finish it up, you gotta go and you wanna add another node, webhook, and then you wanna respond to webhook node, okay? And then what you'll do is when you click it open, so let's just get this out of the way. Click this open, it's gonna respond with first incoming message, so make sure that's what you're choosing, okay? And then the message here is very important because what this is gonna do, this is essentially gonna delete the accepted message that Twilio normally sends out automatically once it receives a message, okay? So you literally just wanna copy and paste this right here. Again, like I said, it'll be available in the community, but if you're not in the community and you're just following along on YouTube, literally just copy and paste this here, and you'll be good to go, and then it'll eliminate that accepted message. And this is why at the very beginning of the webhook sequence, the inbound, you wanna respond based on using the respond to webhook node, okay? So that's what completes the whole thing full circle. We have all the different tools attached to it. And that's pretty much it, guys. And ultimately, like I said, for the purpose of connecting each and every credential on this platform, click docs, go here, and it'll give you instructions on how to do that and make it super simple. And if you do have any questions or you do want to see a custom build, please put it in the comments. And yeah, keep me posted, and hopefully we'll see you in the community.